I think Hubert has done an incredible job assembling a really good team, and we played against some good teams so far. We played against Houston, we played against Florida. We played a tough schedule. You know, Georgia, Texas A&M. There's been quite a few teams that have a shot this year. This is a team that's, to me, as good as any of those teams. First of all, you start with a guy like Caleb Wilson. I don't know how much money he's making right now, but it's not enough. And he's about to go make hundreds of millions of dollars if he keeps his head on straight and he continues to work. He seems like a great kid. I think Hubert's doing a great job utilizing his strengths. I'm coming down from the NBA. That is a bona fide NBA player. And just his presence around the rim, you cannot replicate. You know, we tried to do a good job with our game plan in terms of our switching and fronting the post, but he's absolutely relentless on the boards. He has size, length, athleticism. So kudos to Hubert, his staff, for bringing a guy like Caleb in. That's your prototypical UNC pro that's going to go make a ton of money playing basketball, and he's going to help win a lot of games. But I like their team too. I like the big kid, Henry. He does a great job around the rim, and then their guard play obviously is just steady. Seth obviously is still shaking off some of the rust from coming back from injury, but he was such a force defensively, and getting into the paint and getting to the foul line. So big credit to them. My message to our guys after the game, and we've gone through some tough losses this year, and it's a building year for sure. But if we play as hard as we played tonight, we're going to win a lot of games in the ACC, and we're not going to face. We've got another game against Duke coming up that's similar to UNC, but we're not going to face 18 Duke and UNCs. We have to keep our foot on the gas. We have to trust that open shots are eventually going to fall. We created some great looks that, God, I've never seen anything like it. They're halfway down the net and they pop back out. And at some point, I'm hopeful and I have full faith that those balls are going to stay down the net. And once that happens, the floodgates are going to open up for us. But the effort and the consistency and the connectivity, especially when UNC went on some runs, was really encouraging.
Question for Coach, please.
I believe in the second half, I think you only had 5 threes, you had 7 in the first half. Was there anything different in the shots you were getting maybe in the second half that weren't going down as much, or just like you were talking about, that rattling out?
Yeah, no, I thought we actually generated some unbelievable looks in the second half, some wide open, butt naked catch and shoot threes. That's what our offense is going to generate. I'm not telling our guys just to launch threes. I'm telling them to generate great shots, to touch the paint, to collapse the defense. We were 12 from 40 from three, and I'm not great at math, but I think we were 11 for 26 from two. And 11 for 26 from two is just not going to get it done. And we missed 6 free throws, 57% from the free throw line. So we have to continue to attack the paint. We have to knock down free throws. We have to finish our twos around the hoop. But this team was built on pace and was built on shooting. But we're not making shots right now, and that's not a good formula.
You bring Alir Malouk down the stretch down the second half. What did you like from him in that stretch?
Alir?
Yeah.
I thought he just brought some great energy. Hubert did a great job in the second half, going to a little high-low action, and they were pinning us up the floor. They lifted the low man and kind of just lobbed it over the top. And had, I think, 2 or 3 dunks off that play, and then they were beating us up on the glass, and we just needed a little bit more size. I thought Steen battled and did as best he could. We were trying to go small, but again, once those shots aren't falling, the small ball is a little counterproductive when you're getting beat up on the glass. So Alir came in, and to his credit, he stayed ready. It's tough to not play in a half and then get subbed in the game and give the type of effort he gave. But he's obviously, a young. He's supposed to be a freshman right now. He reclassed, so he's young and he's still growing into his body. But again, the effort he played with, I was really pleased with. He came in with a spark off the bench and helped us on a little bit of a run.
7 turnovers for Robert McRae. Was it something that UNC was doing, or is it him just not playing his game?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. Part of it, the ball is in Rob's hands so much that it just, when you're a high frequency attack guard, you're gonna have some turnovers. I thought Trimble and all of their guards did a good job playing physical when Rob got in the paint. But also you got to understand, Rob is top 10 in the nation in assists, and he has to be. I don't think they track this stat in the NCAA, but he has to be close to number 1 in assist opportunities. Because he's making the right play over and over and over again, and shots just aren't falling, But I'm encouraging him as a high-level passer and playmaker to continue to make those passes. But obviously, he would like to have a couple of those back where he just lost the ball. But overall, Rob's going to have some of these games where his turnovers are high with how much the ball's in his hands.
They started scoring in the first half. What did you like about the way you guys defended him specifically?
Yeah, I thought our defense has improved over the last couple of weeks, and I know the opponents were a little bit less, but even tonight, I liked our connectivity on the defensive end. It's got to be 5 guys against the ball. We were doing our best to switch 1 through 5 and then front the post and bottle up the post from the backside with our weak side help. In the first half, I thought we did a really good job, and like I said, UNC did a great job adjusting to that and drawing up some stuff coming out of halftime that worked pretty well for them. But overall, we don't have the personnel to guard just one-on-one, and we're going to have to do 5 against the ball. We're going to have to sit in gaps. We're going to have to sit in shifts, and then we're going to have to late contest 3-point opportunities, because once the ball gets in the paint, we're just a little bit smaller than a lot of the teams will play, and so we're going to face some trouble once the ball gets in the paint. So we're going to do our best to keep the ball out of the paint.
You talk back about Wilson, about what your defensive strategy was to keep him from scoring, or what was your defensive plan against Caleb Wilson?
Clearly, it didn't work. We did our best again. Our thought. He is so good once he's within 10 feet of the basket. He has a quick vertical leap. He has a ton of length, and he's aggressive. So a lot of where he likes to operate in terms of the post and the mid post, that the old school basketball minds is a Mike Brown saying, but the Karl Malone area on the court, kind of that post to mid post extended. That once he catches the ball there, it's pretty lethal. So we did our best to deny him and front the post and not allow him to catch as easily as we would have hoped. And then once he did catch it, we were coming with a clamp from the weak side low man, and we would trap along the baseline. I actually thought we did a pretty good job with the game plan. Again, he did such a good job on the offensive glass, in transition a little bit. But once he's on the offensive glass, especially when we were switching and he had some smaller guys on him, our guys battled. He's I don't know how long his wingspan is, but it felt like about 15 feet. They just out-jumped us, outreached us, and we're going to have to continue to battle, because we're going against another guy in Boozer that's much different game but similar, just a force on the glass, and a young player that's going to make a ton of money playing basketball. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Everybody else said?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Everybody.